Superminis. They're up next.
So out onto the circuit they come then, and obviously the next race being the Superminis. Hopefully this race is going to be the one that goes the distance, because they only had 4 laps last time before the red flag incident that brought a halt to proceedings. So hopefully this time it's going to be a much longer race from their point of view, and we still have this battle to decide in the championship fight, of course, between Messrs Dickinson and Blackburn, and we only really got a taster of it earlier on, but now they are battling together. Technically, Dickinson did just beat Blackburn, so he obviously has, well, it's only one grid, isn't it? So would that be 25 points to 20 on this occasion, or would it be still 60 to 50? I'm not sure what the battle is going to be, at 60 to 55 even. So we'll have to double check on that one, but certainly last time out it was 60 to 50 over the course of the 9th round of the championship. That's how many points they picked up. So that would suggest to me that the last round was also a double pointer, but now it's going to be close, because Dickinson coming into this weekend had 860 to 809 for Dane Blackburn. On dropped scores, Dickinson had more points to drop, so he went from 860 to 800 on dropped scores, if you like, and Dane Blackburn only had to lose 45, so they're actually a lot closer to each other on dropped scores than they would be in the total to count. So it's basically, the simplest way I can describe it to you is, if Joe Dickinson stays in front of Dane Blackburn, he wins the title. But it's a little harder than that as they battle away to the first corner. Green flag is in the air, it drops, and we are racing. And it's going to be a tough one to hang on to, but if anybody can, Joe Dickinson can, as the 48 goes through the first hairpin. No major problems at the moment as he goes through that first hairpin, and so far he leads the way. But Dane Blackburn in the 114 is still there in second place, and he still wants a piece of this, with the rest of the runners charging in behind, and that duel for victory is going to be very tight all the way through this race, unless that man can really start to drop the hammer out early. Joe Dickinson wants to dominate.
Yeah, he really does, doesn't he? And he's been the same all the way throughout the season, with these guys jostling for position left, right and centre all the way through this year, and they're not going to let it get away this time around. And of course, like I say, we only got 4 laps in last time, so hopefully this time they can really pile on the pressure and get this race done and dusted. You can just see there how difficult the conditions are for a camera, really, with that sun so bright, the exposure having to really be turned down, and it's very difficult to actually see the bikes out there. But it's the same, of course, for the riders when they're going into those corners. It's really difficult to see with that sun blaring in your eyes. You have to really time it perfectly, don't you?
Well, Dane Blackburn hasn't really got Joe Dickinson to worry about at the moment. It's that man he's worrying about. Tom Lewis is giving him a massive run for his money at the moment. Tom Lewis threatening to get into second position now. If that happens, Joe Dickinson really has won the British title here in Superminis, as it's going to get very, very tricky for him to close up on Joe Dickinson up front. Dickinson, of course, coming into this last weekend of the season in front of Dane Blackburn. Dane is trying to keep his title hopes alive, but it's not going to be easy. He's out of the final turn. Tom Lewis is going to give him a real run for his money down the main straight. Lewis keeps his hand in there as he tries to get on the inside. He's not quite going to be able to make the move, so he has to hang back and remain in third position for the moment. But you do get the sense that Tom Lewis is giving Dane Blackburn a massive hurry-up. Joe Dickinson, well, it's just a Sunday afternoon drive in the countryside.
Yeah, he's really managing to opening that gap up. It's 2 seconds at the moment from himself. Fastest lap that he's done is a 45.625, and of course fastest lap of the race. And I'm really thinking that if Tom Lewis can get past Dane Blackburn, he's going to be putting in the same times, roughly around the same times, I should say. But yeah, he's going to want to get past him as soon as possible. He's just not letting him, is he? He's putting that bike perfectly positioned, completely making it as wide as possible.
Holmes Williams is there in 4th position, still trying to hang with them as they come across the light. Goodness me, Dane Blackburn got a little bit out of sorts over the bump there. Looked to me as though the bike was a little bit wayward from him, and Tom Lewis is taking full advantage of it. And he runs a little bit deep. Oh, Lewis tried to get the switch underneath him there and wasn't quite able to finish the job. So Tom Lewis definitely giving pressure to Dane Blackburn as they continue through the right, through the left. And Lewis is swarming around behind him as Richard Holmes-Williams closes in 4th position. He really wants to get this job done. Into the right-hander. Still plenty of speed, plenty of pace. Into the left-hander. Can they hang on to this? This is a massive battle going on now as Lewis has got pressure from Holmes-Williams. Holmes-Williams wants to get into the fight. but Dane Blackburn is hanging on to second place by a thread at the moment.
Yep, that's of course allowed Holmes Williams to really close in on this battle. Really holding them up now is Dane Blackburn, and this is of course playing into Joe Dickinson's hands, extending that championship lead that he's got at the moment of 860 points he's accumulated at the moment at the front. But 8 laps to go in this battle for second position. 3 bikes involved. Blackburn, Lewis and Holmes Williams is really starting to heat up now. As you can see, Holmes Williams there just trying to find any gap he can on these two. Just trying to see if there's a weak spot anywhere on this circuit, and I don't think there is.
Well, Tom Lewis is getting very frustrated in turn 2. Watch on this lap if he gets an opportunity, as Holmes Williams tries to get up the inside, doesn't get there. Watch Tom Lewis as they go into turn 2. This is where he's going to try and make the move in the inside into turn 1. He can't get there. Now watch him through 2, because he knows that Blackburn hasn't got the same top end speed, so he's going to try and go the long way round. Now he tucks it on the inside line, can't quite make it stick, and he tries to get the switch back on the next turn for turn 3. He's not been able to make that stick so far, but he needs to commit to it. Now he's going to slide up the inside. Now he gets the job done. Holmes Williams is going to get past both of them.
Holmes Williams down the inside of both of them there. Great move from him. You can see they're just biding his time, waiting for that opportunity to do it, and there it was. He tried to go down the inside. He forced them both out wide under braking, causing them to go wide, and then he just said, thank you very much, I'll take that. And there it is. Holmes Williams up into P2, and as they cross the line, yellow flags out in the first section, so rider down in turn 1, and here is a replay of that move.
See, Lewis gets the move here. He's desperate to get past Blackburn at this point. He's like, right, I'm fed up of looking at your rear wheel. I'm going for the move.
It gets a bit squirrely as well, doesn't it?
It's very squirrely. They both overshoot as a result, and Holmes Williams, it's an easy overtake in the end. He's able to get past both men in one fell swoop just by being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it was a great move from Holmes Williams there. Really well deserved to get up into P2. And at the moment, as you can see, still there. But he's not managed to pull away, of course, has he?
See, Lewis is the man with the ultimate pace here. He's the man. If he doesn't have the roadblock in front of him, you see Joe Dickinson's been able to do a 45.1. These guys are at 45.7. There is Dickinson out in front. If Lewis can find a way past Holmes Williams, I bet you he will be, as you said, the same sort of pace as the race leader, 45.3s, 45.4s maybe, but he's just not able to find the space. There's Dickinson out in front, and look how far he's been able to pull away. Lewis, he's down!
He's down!
I could have seen that one coming a mile off. He tries. You see, he gets frustrated by the slower rider in front. He goes the long way round trying to get the switch back in and cuts back in for the inside of the right-hander, but he just dropped it. He was trying to find the speed around the outside because the inside line, he was being held up, and he just couldn't quite get there. That's a wasted opportunity for Tom Lewis, and he will feel gutted about that one. That's a race victory that faded away from him.
Yeah, the accident happened before it happened. You saw the bike, it really got loose, and hopefully we can get a replay of it. Here it is. So you can see as it comes into shot now, there you go, the back steps out there, and then it just throws it away from him, and then it digs into the ground there, flips up into the air.
Just washes out. It's such a shame because in terms of one lap raw pace, he was probably equal to Dickinson in terms of one lap pace. So he could have given him a run for his money there, but unfortunately, initially getting held up first by Blackburn, and then when he finally got past, he let Holmes Williams get through, and he wasn't much faster than Blackburn.
No.
So he got frustrated, and he just went, oh, I just can't bear to be sat in third place any longer. I need to go for it.
Yeah, exactly that, and it was just a shame, really, massive shame. It's someone who was so quick out there, really showing that they've got the pace and trying to challenge for the lead, but unfortunately that has to happen, doesn't it? And race leader crosses the line. Here is second place of Richard Holmes Williams, of course unaware of what's happened behind. Of course it was battling away, but yeah, massive shame there for the number 30 of Tom Lewis.
Well, this man, Joe Dickinson, is riding to the title. His closest opposition, Dane Blackburn, is in third place now, behind Richard Holmes Williams. He may well have spotted that because he's far enough ahead that when he goes through these hairpins, he might have just taken a quick, cheeky look to his left or his right and seen what the playing order is behind him. And he will know that, well, it doesn't really matter because he's behind me. So as long as I stay in front, I can just control the pace and I can control this weekend. He's loving it out there. He's even popping a wheelie over the crest as they come through once again. And he is loving this ride to the title. And it is the ride to the title from his point of view. He doesn't need to push too hard now. And Richard Holmes Williams in second has actually pulled out 4 seconds now nearly on Dane Blackburn. So Holmes Williams definitely had more raw pace than Dane Blackburn did. Crooks is now in 4th place from Lawrence Wardle and Mark Evans. Then Joe Duggan is 7th place in front of Luke Bithell and Rob Booth. Then Reece Stevenson. Booth has actually got past Bithell on that lap, my apologies, so he does make the move through the number 5, past Luke Bithell. Then Reece Stevenson and Callum Ricketts having this terrific battle. Here they come. Stevenson still has Callum Ricketts all over him. Down to the first corner, can't quite overhaul Stevenson just yet. Then it is Michael Garwood in front of Matthew Watson, but they've been lapped by this man who goes into the last lap. Richard Holmes Williams in 2nd place, still charging hard, but the man out front is just, well, there's only one word for it, flawless.
Yep, absolutely flying out there, as you can see. A bit of the grass that was brought up by Tom Lewis in the middle of the track. But, yeah, this absolutely crystal clean race from Joe Dickinson here on the 48 machine as he goes through the infield section now. As you see there, absolutely perfect, nailing all those apexes, getting it round this track absolutely beautifully. And only a couple more corners to negotiate for him now. Bit of traffic in front of him, but not going to play a pivotal moment for him.
Short race 1, victorious nonetheless. Proper race 2, and this time he wins it in style. Joe Dickinson has done enough. He knows he is the king of 2019. Fantastic performance all weekend, and now he can celebrate in style, having had an amazing run through the season. Joe Dickinson is the king of Super Minis in 2019, and the moment finally dawns on him. As close as it was coming into this final round of the title fight, it is done and dusted, and he is the champion. Richard Holmes Williams in 2nd place. Dane Blackburn is 3rd. Lawrence Wardle in 4th position. Some nice showboating across the line from Joe Duggan, who finishes his season 7th behind Sam Crooks and Mark Evans. 8th place for Rob Booth. 9th position for Luke Bithell. And rounding up the top 10 will be Reece Stevenson. But your champion in 2019 is the man who won both races this weekend after being the class act when he needed to be. Joe Dickinson wins in style.